Hey everybody, and welcome to this, our first episode of 2019's Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. Hey everyone, and like we said, this is Underground Video Network, Behind the Counter. I'm Michael Boroff.
I'm Richard Carajon.
And this is our first episode of 2019. Running a little late because my hoverboard and my flying car.
They all froze up.
It all froze up, yes. We're shooting, it's February, and if you live in the Midwest or anywhere in the general area, you know it has been feisty cold.
That's polar vortex.
Oh, yeah. So the last month or so has been a really good time to get caught up on comic books and especially television. The last few weeks we've seen new shows. And we've seen the return of some of our favorite shows.
Yeah.
I think the thing we should really mention first is the new shows. DC Universe, man. We've talked about our love of DC Universe before. It's still in that kind of awkward phase where people who, like us, who have joined and subscribed really love it, but there are still people out there who are still kind of on the fence about it.
Young Justice dropped.
Oh, man. Yeah. Young Justice Season
3.
Season 3. Yeah. Season 3 dropped. I like you know what? I really like the way they've been doing it, too, where you don't have to wait every week for a new episode. They did 3, and I really like that because it's that happy medium between having to wait every week for a new episode and just getting them all dumped at the same time and binging it, in a weekend. I like having something new to look forward to every week, but I need a little bit more than an episode, especially when they, the shorter running times.
Yeah, they're shorter,
Yeah.
Because they're only like 28 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Season 3 has been phenomenal. And it was great too because for me, before I started watching Season 3, DC Universe gave me the opportunity to get caught up. And that was wow. I had forgotten just how many episodes there were. And
in 2 seasons, they had a lot.
Yes, they really did.
Of course, that's cartoon time, so.
That's true. And the thing with especially Young Justice is there's usually some kind of big shift in between seasons, like durations of time.
And there was this time.
Then it really was this time. It was kind of like, well, spoilers, like one of the greatest examples of, a jump in time was we got to see Connor and Megan finally together, living the suburban life, and I thought that was great.
And fixing motorcycles.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I like that. I like that Connor is finally chilled out. Not only do I really like that Connor is finally chilled out with the introduction of Brian Geoforce.
Oh, yeah.
We got to see his reaction to someone that acts the way that he used to, the hothead, literally and figuratively.
It's a little different, though.
It really is.
They really tweaked the Outsiders. They recreated the Outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like the Outsiders, this is a good jumping on point.
Yes, and it does not fail. It just excels at bringing in outside elements.
Oh,
you get a little bit of the Justice League. You get to see, what's going on there.
Black Lightning.
That was so great to see him. Oh man, in the first couple episodes, that was great. So yeah, Young Justice Season 3 has definitely been a favorite of both of ours.
And the animation is on par as the original. So.
Yes, and another thing that was great in the DC Online is they released Superman, Reign of the Supermen.
Oh, yes.
Watched it, still going to buy it, but I like the fact that, especially since it was like 30 below, I didn't have to leave the house to watch it. It was kind of like a little bit of a surprise for me. I'm like, oh, that's on here already? Wait.
I watched The Death of Superman. I didn't even buy that. I actually skipped buying it because I watched it on DC Universe.
Yeah. I thought both of them, and if you know me, you know I am a diehard Superman fan. And I really liked both of them. If you get a chance to watch them, and you get a chance to watch them back to back, I recommend it. They were both really good. Granted, they did have to take liberties and the stories,
Right.
just because of a time constraint.
And they fit it within the DC cartoon or animated movie universe or whatever
Yes.
they're calling it.
It fit perfectly in, especially because one of the biggest thrusts in the original Return of Superman was the cyborg Superman in the destruction of Coast City.
Right.
And you're thinking to yourself, how are they going to? Yeah. We got something better, and it worked. It really did work.
Yeah, I think it really worked. And I love seeing the death of Superman.
Oh, that was yes.
I know we didn't really review any of that when it first came out, but I enjoyed it because I haven't even watched it until just the other day when I watched it on DC Universe. So
I did. I enjoyed it very much. It was both of them are very well done retellings of the story to update it to modern times. They were as perfect as you could get.
and I don't know, it worked.
It really did. The voice acting was great. The animation was great. The stories were great. One of my favorite parts in the Reign of the Superman was, there's no spoilers, but there is a conversation between Lois Lane and Wonder Woman that was phenomenal. I loved it, because Diana thinks she's there to talk to Lois for one reason, and Lois is just like, nah, I need some answers, and it was just like, oh, thank God. So yeah, there's that, and here very recently, I mean, we've already talked about Titans.
Right, and that ended us on a huge cliffhanger.
Oh man, Titans really did set the bar for what was available through the DC streaming service.
Oh, yeah.
And man, did they knock it out of the park. And not only did they knock it out of the park and set the bar high, but what came next met the bar and came up a little higher.
Yeah, Doom Patrol was released this last Friday.
Yes.
And boy, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's I'll spoil just a little bit. It's an origin story. So if you do know the characters, they stuck pretty close to the original origins. And the how do I want to say it? It's really on tight,
Yeah.
And it's adult. It's very adult. If you thought Titans was adult, this
Yeah.
is adult in another reason.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, jump on Doom Patrol. If you like the original crew, great. They brought Crazy Jane in,
Yep.
and the actress that plays her is just, this is great,
Yeah,
So
on point. Like you said, the shifts in character.
Oh, yeah.
Seamless,
Yeah.
flawless, and well done.
yeah, and see Cliff in the robot uniform is just something, because in this episode it's kind of centered around him learning to be in the robot suit, or not suit, robot body.
Yeah.
It's not Iron Man. But he's like inside with his brain, and he had to learn how to actually walk and do all this stuff. And so they worked that through, and then they did the origins of the other characters.
Yeah.
And like I said, they stayed close to on par. So
Yeah, I think the one major shift, well, at least from what we first saw in Titans, was since Gar left the Doom Patrol to go be with the Titans, well, to be with Raven.
Yeah.
There was that little bit of a void, and when we'd all heard that Victor Stone, Cyborg, was kind of going to,
Yeah, and he's not in this first episode. I will
Right.
spoil that. That comes in a little later. So.
Right.
But that'll fill the void as a younger person, because all
Yes.
these are really older characters.
Yes.
But if you get a chance, check it out. Whatever. We're not promoting DC Universe totally, but we love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't get no cutbacks. Come on, DC.
And it's not just DC Universe that we like. They're not the only ones tapping into really great comic book properties right now. Netflix.
Oh yeah.
The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, the books are great back in the
The
day.
books are great.
And I think it touched the same way.
Yes. I really like the way that they're going about it. I think it's excellently cast. Oh man, I really liked. I like the idea that the way they're going about it is the family's askew. The family's askew, and
Okay, X-Men. No.
yeah, the family's askew, and it's the death of father that reluctantly brings them back.
Right.
But we see you get enough in the flashbacks. They're not heavy-handed. It's not an over-the-top, in-your-face origin story, but it gives you enough history to put everything on par with what's going on now in the story.
But that whole swimming pool incident at the beginning was just so spot on.
Oh, that was, yeah. And to see it, actual, because she's just like, the crimson, you're just like, oh.
You get a kiss and you get pregnant. Oh.
Yeah.
It's that whole middle school.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just had to bring that part up.
And I really respected, too, that they, not only did they keep it in the dialogue at the beginning in Russian, they didn't even bother translating it because it wasn't important. Actually, not knowing what those kids were saying made what happened even better, But I like the style of it. I like the tone of it. Oh, I can't wait I really hope that when the season's done, they release a soundtrack, because that is just, it's like every song is on point for what's happening, in the story, but it's also, come on, I Think We're Alone Now. I was giddy, when they did the whole Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now, so that was really great. Not only did we have, the introduction of new shows, we saw some shows come back. A show that has become one of my all-time favorites, legitimately, it's really up there, that I don't think we've really touched on very much here on the show, is the Orville.
Oh, yeah.
The Orville returned. The Orville was an unexpected pleasure because, some time ago, when it was first announced that Seth MacFarlane was going to do a Star Trek type show, nobody really knew what to expect. People like me who know Seth MacFarlane, I think he's great, know that he is truly, legitimately a Star Trek fan.
Right.
So I knew he wasn't going to parody it, because this is something that, he's known for his comedy and for parodies, but this was a property that he really loved.
But it still has enough that element in it.
Oh, yes. It's
because they had to, because they couldn't do this unless they were doing that.
It is. It's got the heart of Star Trek, but it's got his comedic sensibilities.
Right.
It's legitimately funny without being overtly slapstick at times. Sometimes it is.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it is. But it legitimately is a great show. And there are episodes, quite a few, that the actual story is on par with some of I would dare say, social commentary that the original Star Trek was known for.
Yeah, they were trying to. That's what it is.
Yes, Seth MacFarlane has taken what he loved about the original Star Trek and modernized it and put his spin on it. It's the best way I can describe it, and it is really fantastic. Like one of the episodes here recently, no spoilers, but when they go to that planet with the horoscope.
Oh, yeah, with the astrology stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
If you're born under a bad star.
Yeah. And we finally, especially after Star Trek The Next Generation, when they introduced the holodeck, and so many people made so many jokes over the years, we still do, make jokes about what we would actually do if we had a holodeck. Or they address it. And not only do they address it with a character we weren't quite ready for. Wow.
And you get a virus out of it.
Oh, man.
Just like the...
But not only that, but it dealt with a real issue.
Yeah.
Which really struck home for a few of us. Some of us were watching that episode going, delete browser history. Yeah, but it's really great. Not only does he give homage to the original Star Trek, he's brought in a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
The episode where the security officer, Alara, was injured, and she goes back to her home world.
Oh, yeah.
We got to see the doctor from, Voyager?
Yeah.
And
he was actually the hologram doctor.
And the bartender from Voyager.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow. And they weren't cheap bit parts where it's just like, it's like, they were great for the story.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's another recommendation that I have.
And we got another change of security officers.
Yeah.
That's so reminiscent of Star Trek, but
I was really upset to see Alara go, but I'm just going to spoil it. Spoiler alert. The actress who played Alara had to leave the show. It was, from what I've read, because I was very curious about it. It was all on good terms.
Right.
I think it was just one of those things where it's like, I want to go do this over here. But if you know the show, you know one of the running jokes is whenever the captain needs her to do something, it's like, Laura, could you open this jar of pickles for me? And she'd break the wall down. Or, if this boulder fell, he'd be like, could you open this jar of pickles for me? And at the very end of that episode, she gives him a little box. And he opens it up and he pulls it out and it's a little jar of pickles. And I was just like, that was legitimately one of the best endings I have ever seen. The only thing, in my opinion, that would have topped it is if he went to open it and he couldn't open it. That would have been perfect. But yeah, we got the introduction of the new security officer who,
right.
I really like her. I think they went kind of easy because they just replaced her with pretty much the same character, but a different character.
Yeah, a little older, a little.
I did like it's like, well, I was removed from my last post because I punched the captain. But
his eyes.
He's like, really? But her explanation was on point, and it was actually pretty genius. Why, too? The cast is amazing. The cast is great. Definitely recommend the Orville if you haven't been watching it already.
And CBS really slipped up when they didn't jump on this. He pitched this to CBS.
Yeah.
Because he wanted this Star Trek canon. But,
yeah.
well.
And the other thing that's great about the Orville, I'm just going to keep going on. The other thing that's great about the Orville is the special effects.
Oh.
This is a legitimate, on par sci-fi show. The special effects, the scenery, all of it. The ship's interior. The ship. I love that ship. I really do love that ship. And the cast. I highly recommend the Orville. Go watch it. We love it.
DC TV?
Oh, yeah. It's cold, so like we said earlier, what better time is it to get caught up on the shows that have come back? And the CW, I got to come out and say it. I am an avid Green Arrow fan. And I will be the first to admit that Arrow has had its roller coaster of seasons. Last season was good. It was different having Oliver in prison.
Yeah.
Was definitely different. But this season we got to see him not only return, but we got to see him return as Green Arrow. And in a move that, you'll appreciate this, it really reminded me of the old 1966 Batman, where Oliver gets deputized.
Oh, yeah.
by the Star City Police Department, because that was the first thing I thought of when she slid him the badge. It was just like, I just saw that moment with Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hare and Batman. They're duly deputies of the law. It's just like, oh man. But it has been really good. I have really enjoyed this season, seeing Green Arrow actually act like Green Arrow with the suit and everything. And it's definitely been paying a lot of homage to the original and the current Green Arrow comic books. We got to see the introduction of Amico.
Oh, yeah.
That, I kind of want to say I called it right off the bat, because when Oliver was in prison, another Green Arrow made its way into the limelight. And for a while we had no idea, man, woman, young, old, who it was. But I'm kind of like, I love my Green Arrow comic books. I'm kind of like, I wonder if that's his sister. Not Mia, or not Thea, but, Amica. And sure enough, and I have female friends that have cosplayed Green Arrow before.
Oh, okay.
And you could just hear them go, "It's canon now. I can wear it and not get slapped." The other nod here, really recently, it was a small little thing, but it tickled me so much, was when Oliver and Felicity were getting ready to sit down to dinner, and Felicity mentions that your dad's making his world famous chili. Oliver Queen is known for his chili in the comic books. It has gone on record, that Oliver Queen's chili is so hot that even Batman won't eat it. And it was just a nice nod that she mentions that her dad Oliver makes chili. I just thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah. Supergirl's been like going every different direction.
Oh wow, man! Supergirl has been everywhere.
I mean, the whole part with her and her sister was just crazy.
Oh, that legitimately was heartbreaking. That legitimately was one of the, I hate to say, complaints that Supergirl has been getting in the last couple seasons this season is that it's been too political.
Yeah, and it still is, but...
It still is, but the problem, well, not the problem, the point is, though, it's still on point, though.
Right.
And it makes sense, because especially seeing as, Supergirl is an alien, and she lives in a world with aliens.
Yeah.
And she is a woman in a world where women are treated as women are treated. So it makes perfect sense that this would be the show to tackle those issues, and they do it very well. Sometimes a little, in my opinion, disclaimer, overly. Not that I don't appreciate the message, but
yeah,
it's a show about a superhero.
Yeah,
I think the bottom line is, and then what a lot of people agree is shows like this, we love the message, but for some of us it's an escape.
Right. We want to get away from the real world.
We want to get away.
And we're getting too much of the real world knocked in on top of us.
Yes.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
I agree. I still love the show. I love the message.
I still want to see Supergirl push the Earth away. No.
Yeah. But when I turn off the news at the end of the night because I can't handle it anymore, I don't want to see a repeat of it in the show. And I still love the show.
I love what they're doing in the comic right now. I know we're talking TV, but the comic is great right now because she's off with Krypto out in the universe looking to blew up Krypton. I mean,
yes,
the art is phenomenal.
The art is phenomenal. A girl and her dog, man. That's out in the universe. I love that. And he's just flying around
the spaceship and having all these adventures and stuff. Hint, hint.
Yeah, I love that. But we've talked about Supergirl. We've talked about Arrow. We haven't got a chance. If you notice, we're not talking about Legions. It's just because Legends. It's not on yet. It's not on yet. We miss Legends, but there is another time traveling. Screwing with the timeline. Show out there the Flash.
Yeah, XS, man. We're learning more and more about her backstory.
Man, I really like XS. I really love I love XS. It's the character. It's like now we're really starting to understand why Sherlock, not Sherlock, Sherlock, is so apprehensive about her. Thawne, Evan A.
Who else was she going to turn to? There was no other speedster.
Well, that is a very good point. That is a very good point.
And she, we had the museum. And then we have him. Dude. That's all there is in the future.
That's true, dude. That when they went to go into Cicada's niece's mind, but got stuck in Iris's mind. Seeing the Flash Museum. I loved Iris's interpretation. Say, we're never going to hear the end of this, are we? He's got like the bobblehead. It's been great. If you're like us, if you have noticed the last few couple episodes have been really good, but it seems like they've been a little flashlight. Doing a little research, because, you can do research before you talk about stuff. Google, the big reason why was because while they were filming these episodes for this season was at the same time that Grant was filming Elseworlds. So he couldn't always be there. So that's the reason why, like the last couple episodes, it's been kind of buried light. Especially this last episode, which should have been called the Butterfly Effect. Because she was just committing like the worst sin her father could think of, like over and over and over again. It's like, screwed up, go back in time and fix it. Screwed up again, go back in time and fix it. But that was a good episode. It was really neat to see, her determination to set everything right and screwing up and doing this and trying this and trying this. And it wasn't until everybody figured out what was going on and they came together as a team.
Right.
That was a great moment for her. Because I get the feeling, with everything that's been going on with her coming into the past to save her dad, but getting the feeling that she had to do it alone. I think this was a great episode that kind of like maybe shifted her way of thinking.
Hopefully.
But
I don't know. I still think this is all going to lead up to the crisis.
Yes, which we are.
This is more and more looking like it.
Yes.
Because they already messed with the timeline, so.
Yeah, which we'd seen a couple little, like shifts in like the famous newspaper from like episode 1. Almost,
yeah.
Well,
Iris started the newspaper early.
Yeah.
So this is another shift, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. And we got to see more of Ralph. I love Ralph. I love everything about Ralph. I love every episode he's in, and I love him with, especially here lately, Cisco.
Oh.
Like he's trying to be the buddy,
Cisco, though.
Ooh, Cisco.
He's going to be leaving us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could see it.
Yeah. It's
when you do stuff like this and you get typecast and stuff, and these actors want to go off and do other stuff.
Yeah.
I could see why. Doing Geek TV must be hard.
Yeah.
I would think it'd be hard.
And knowing what I know about the actor who plays Cisco, he has a pretty extensive background. He's a musician, and when you've put, what are we on now? 5, 6
5,
years?
yeah.
5 years into something, you can't fault him.
Yeah.
It
needs change, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like I said, we have a crisis and maybe everything will get shook up.
Which, speaking of, especially, people doing something for so long, there's been a lot of talk that, Arrow's, we just talked about how long Flash has been on. Arrow's been on longer.
Right.
It's one of those, how many more years can they, keep this going? We're seeing kind of like a change of the guard in Arrow. We've seen the introduction of Emiko, who has proven, in her own right to be a pretty kick-ass Green Arrow. We're seeing the flash forwards now, as opposed to the flashbacks we've gotten before. So one thing they really don't talk a whole lot about, if you realize this, because the whole kind of story thrust of the flash forwards is Felicity. Where is Felicity? Why has Felicity been doing this, and why has she been doing that? We don't really hear a lot about Oliver.
That's true.
And as much as I love Steve Amell, I love the show, one of the big rumors going around is that maybe not anytime real soon, but when it comes time for Steve Amell to step down, we can still keep going.
Right.
And and that would be a great way to continue the show is with Emiko. I love that idea.
Rebranding happens.
Yes. It's like Doctor Who. Just because that actor has left the show doesn't mean the show is not over. Granted, Emiko wouldn't be taking on Oliver, but she would be taking on the character, and I would be for it. So far, she, and we're getting kind of an OG Green Arrow out of her too. The whole I work alone, I don't work with a team, I have a mission. And we get to see how she progresses.
And they got the pilot of Batwoman running around now too, so who knows where we're going to go.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe it is time for some of these older CW shows.
Mm-hmm.
And CW, how long is it really going to be around now? Warner Brothers is going to have its own portal or app or whatever you're calling it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be 3-tiered. So, I could see this feasibly moving. I mean, they're leaving Netflix.
Yeah.
So,
And these shows aren't like Supernatural, which I've just read that got picked up for the 15th.
Yeah, 15th. Yeah.
Season. We were kind of predicting that season 13 was going to be it. That would have been a perfect 13th, you know?
Yeah.
Then
Well,
it's
we
just
even thought it was way back at the 5th season it
my
wasn't going to make, because didn't they
God.
do a big reboot around the 5th season?
kind of. They
Yeah.
did the big story arcs, and then I just read here, you know, like I said recently, that they got picked up for a 15th season.
It sells. That's
It's-
all that
it
matters.
does. And honestly, it's still really good.
And
Yeah.
it has the popularity of both, you know, I don't want to say this, but men and women,
Yeah.
kids, older, you know, so Supernatural has a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it stays on, because you can sell that advertisation.
That's true. So, these have been a rundown of all the shows we've been able to get caught up on in the
You
last...
tell we watch a lot of TV lately.
Yeah. I will say this, even when it was 40 below, thank whoever, you know, that I didn't lose the internet or, you know...
Yeah, power didn't go out.
Yeah. So, what were you able to get caught up on, and were you able to get caught up on the shows that we got caught up on? We would love to know. Please contact us. Richard, where they can get a hold of us?
We're at undergroundvideonetwork.com, and through there you can find all our social links on Facebook, Instagram, and MySpace.